Michael Hayes goes, "You sure you don't want the two tall guys on the other end?" And Brock goes, and he didn't. He used the full word, and he goes, "I don't give an F if they're 10 feet tall. I'll kick their ass."
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interview.
Oh, well, Flex, you have an iconic moment of your own right with the male nurses and Sami Zayn. And all I remember after that segment was everyone talking about how buff that one male nurse was, being you.
That was funny because we were back in Gorilla, and Pat McAfee was back there, and he goes, "Shit, dude, you're really buff," and I just was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And he goes, "Dude," he's like, I just want to say something about it. And then like he ended up saying the commentary, like when we were walking out there with Sami Zayn in the wheelchair, and then Pat's like, and that one nurse is like busting out of his, whatever the
he's busting out of his
oh my god, he put it, and it was funny because Sami said, the whole process was we were just extras, and me and Richie, are a team on the indies, and of course, like, so we're there together. So when Brock came in, originally it was supposed to be Roman and Brock in I think in the segment, but Roman wasn't there that night. So then they ended up organizing. They said, okay, we're gonna need two extras, because at first it was like, I don't think we're gonna use any of you guys. It was just like, bummer, and this was the first time I ever worked with them, because I don't know, I was working for almost like 10 years, I guess, and I never reached out to WWE. So like, I always wanted to, but I just was never the guy. I never had the email, whatever. And Richie had already done 205 Live, and he had stints there. So he was like, "Here, let's do it. So then we got on, and then we're there. And Richie just told me like, "Hey, dude, don't expect to be used, for those things." So I said, "Yeah, I get you. So then they said, "Okay, guys, when Brock gets here, he'll select two of you that he wants to work with, for this segment." So then, Brock comes in, everyone stands up, everyone's like, saying hi to Brock, and we're just standing there. And I said to Richie, like, "Hey, push your chest out." And he goes, like, and Richie still tells this line, and he goes, "It is out." And I said, "Well, push it out more." So he's all like this, and Michael Hayes is like, "Hey, Brock, you need to pick two of these guys, and we're all standing there in like a pecking order, like literally, bro, it's like dodgeball, like we're like, who do you want on your team? And Brock he looks us all over, and he goes, "I'll take the two buff guys on the end." And Michael Hayes goes, "You sure you don't want the two tall guys on the other end?" And Brock goes, and he used the full word, and he goes, "I don't give an F if they're 10 feet tall. I'll kick their ass." He goes, "I want those two." And they were just like, "Boys, get in here." And that was it, man. And then we hopped that barricade. We went through the segment. Sami goes right away, "Hey, can we have this male nurse like have his sleeves cut off, or can he lose the scrubs?" And right away, Michael Hayes is like, "No, this segment isn't about that." So Sami was like, "Hey, dude, I tried to advocate for you." I was like, "I appreciate it, bro." Right. So we were in Gorilla, and we were opening the show. That was the first thing, the opening hits, and then it's me and Richie wheeling Sami out there to the segment. And we didn't know anything of what's going on, and it's 15 minutes to going live. Yeah. And we were dressed in our scrubs, and we're in Gorilla with Paul Heyman, Brock, and Sami, and Brock and Sami are still going through their promo, and like they literally had nothing down, like it was so little down.
I know.
And and they just, dude, it was so then we're like, me and Richie are like, "Dog, do we say to Brock, like, 'Hey, Brock, what do you know what I mean? What are we doing?'" So we said to Paul, "Hey, Paul, like, what is Brock gonna, give us?" And then he goes, "Oh, that's right. Brock, what are you gonna give these guys?" And he looks at Richie, and he goes like, "I'm probably just gonna kick you, and I'll just, throw you." Like, it was just very simple. Like, it was almost like Moss code, And then he looks at me and goes, "You look like you could fight." And he's like, "Why don't you draw a fist to me?" He said, "Then I'm going to give you some Brock shit." And then that was it. And then like he turned away and just started just re-talking with Sami. And that was like, I was thinking in my head, I'm probably not going to take an F5, because he's probably going to save that for, Sami. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to take some whatever. I'm like, well, I watched Brock for years. I know what shit he gives, So when the segment came out to be, we didn't know a timing for it either. We just figured when you see Brock get amped, And so we're in the segment, and like they're to watch them have nothing going out there in terms of talking, and to come out with this promo where I was almost enjoying the promo, but you're a part of it, but you're enjoying what they're saying, like, because it was just so professional, just so good. And then all of a sudden, that moment where like Paul is like revving Brock up, I'm thinking in my head, this is the moment, like he's gonna attack Richie like right now. And at that moment, it was like boom, he runs over Richie, he picks him up, he levitates, like I see him pick Richie up, and Richie's just like floating in midair, and he throws him so hard at the rope that he hits the rope like he just hit a glass wall, like he didn't know it was there. So he hits the rope, and he bounces off, and then he goes, and I'm thinking in my head, I ain't doing that. I'm clearing it. Like when he grabs me, I'm going over that rope. And then Brock went, and he just comes running at me. Boom! People thought he hit me in the face because he fell too when he delivered the whatever, like the attack, Yeah. And when I was on the ground, I started to get up, and I just felt myself floating, and I was like, oh, I'm in the air right now, like he's got me by the trousers. And he threw me so fast. I tell everybody, he threw me so fast and hard that like you defy gravity for that moment. Like you can't go the way that you think you will. I looked directly at the middle rope, and I'm like, I'm clearing that. And then all of a sudden my body's just shifting into the rope. So I hit it, and I bounced off all awkwardly, and then he just kicked me in the spleen because he wanted me out of the ring. So he's just like, boom. So I go underneath. I land right next to Richie face to face. I said, are you okay? He's like, I think I broke my wrist. And he's like, you okay? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I said, I think my spleen is caved in. And that was it. We only got like one move each. We get to the back, and then Molly Holly's there, and she's like, dude, you guys did so good. She's like, you totally made it like you're not workers, and it's perfect. And I just was like, yeah, that's what we did. That's exactly how it was. We wanted to make sure that
we did that. We did that.
We knew what we were doing. Yeah.
Right.
So, totally cool. It was totally fun. And I had told people going into that taping, just a small few of people, that I was like, yeah, I'm booked on Smackdown. I said, I'm going to challenge Brock. I said, it's going to be Brock. And then like literally when they gave me that clue in, I think I called my mother and like one other person. I was like, dude, tune in. I was like, I'm going to be there with Brock. And they're like, you're a liar, bro. And I'm like, no, for real,
I'm dead serious.
Yeah. So it was super cool.
Hey, no bullshit though, but Brock is one of those guys that is like just superhuman strength, to where it's like you know how like all of us, we grab each other for like, we pick each other on the shoulder, we jump, we jump to help the brother, it's a light lift. You don't have to jump with Brock. Brother, I remembered Brock picking me up for the F5, and literally it was me sailing around and him scooping me up. But I didn't even have the opportunity to jump, but he scooped me up to where like he scooped me up so high to where it wasn't just on his shoulder. Like I was in the air to where I plopped on his shoulder, to where I was just like, how in the hell did he throw me up like that? Like I'm 230 pounds at the time, and he just threw me up like a sack of shit. Like what the hell? And I didn't even have to jump. I was up there.
It makes the job so much easier, bro. You don't need to assist.
I didn't have to do shit. I was there. I was right there. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
Wife just came in and said, shh.
The Brock excitement got a little too loud.
Yeah, I know. I said the Brock.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interview.